the silence of autumn. The park bench felt icy under my fingers as the autumn sun filtered through the bare branches of the oak trees. Beside me, an empty space that Mateo used to occupy. 2 years. 2 years since his laughter faded from my life, taking with it the colors of my world. I remember the exact day I met him. A street jazz festival. I was lost in the melody of a saxophone, and he, tripping over me while trying to dodge a dancing couple. Our coffees spilled, our gazes met, and amidst the chaos something bloomed. Mateo was an artist, a painter of souls, he used to say. His canvases vibrated with the life he himself radiated. I was Sofía, an architect who only saw straight lines and blueprints. He taught me to see the curve of the clouds, the nuance in old brick, the poetry in everyday life. Our story was a whirlwind of colors and laughter. Afternoons in his studio, with the smell of turpentine in his paint-stained hands as he spoke of his wildest dreams. Nights walking through the city, inventing stories for the strangers who passed by. We were the perfect balance, his creative chaos, my structured order. He painted, I built. But life, like a blank canvas, sometimes has unexpected smudges. Mateo had a secret, one he hid behind his bright eyes and carefree smile. An illness, a condition he had kept at bay for years, one that had slowly, silently begun to claim his body. I didn't know until the small things started to change. The fatigue that overcame him after a few hours in the studio, the uncontrollable tremor in his hands that forced him to put down the brush. I tried to be his rock, his refuge. But fear was an invisible wall separating us. He withdrew, feeling that his art, his essence, was fading. I, desperate to help, only managed to make him feel more vulnerable. Frustration and helplessness became the third person in our relationship. The last time I saw him was here, in this very park. Autumn was already tinting the leaves. We argued. He wanted to push me away, to protect me from the impending pain. I wanted to cling on, to fight by his side. Words flew like arrows, hurtful and full of sorrow. He said he couldn't go on, that he was a dead weight. I yelled that he didn't love me enough to let me be there. He stood up, his eyes filled with a deep sadness that still haunts my dreams, and he left. He never came back. Messages turned into unanswered calls. Calls turned into silence. His friends told me he had moved, seeking experimental treatment, a miracle. He never forgave me, or perhaps I never forgave myself for the words I said. A rustle of leaves pulls me from my thoughts. A shadow falls over the bench. I look up and my heart leaps. It can't be. There, a few feet from me, he is. Thinner, with slightly longer hair but unmistakably Mateo. His eyes, once filled with that unfathomable sadness, now hold a cautious gleam. Sofía. His voice is a whisper, hoarse from disuse, but so familiar. I stand up shakily. Mateo. I can barely utter his name. There are no words, only the sound of the autumn wind and the pounding of my heart. He approaches, slowly and deliberately, until he is in front of me. His hands, the ones that once painted worlds, are now outstretched. I'm better, he says, his gaze pleading. I'm sorry for everything. I was a coward. My eyes fill with tears. I was cruel, I murmur, my voice breaking. I was so cruel. He shakes his head, a lone tear sliding down his cheek. No, just scared, like me. We look at each other, two broken souls meeting again under the autumn sun. The air around us seems charged with everything unsaid, with all the pain, but also with a fragile hope. He takes another step, and I, without thinking, throw myself into his arms. The embrace is clumsy at first, then becomes desperate, a long-awaited comfort. The silence between us is no longer painful, but a space for healing. Autumn continues its course, but this time, perhaps, the colors will shine again.